Alright, what's up everybody? Thanks for hanging with me. We need to keep going. Alright, and let's go ahead and talk about this USB 2.0 cable that we had hanging around. We need to go ahead and turn this into a power adapter. Okay, so I wanted to pause it here and kind of give you a visual reference of what I'm talking about in terms of the USB cable, 2.0 cable. And as you'll see on the screen, it'll have this kind of an adapter that looks like this. These are all the same. This is a closer up version of it, but if you do have one laying around that's like this, good on you. But if you need to purchase it, this is what you're going to actually buy with both of these ends. Now it might have ones that have just a red and a black wire inside, might have one that has a green and white wire inside, which we'll actually see later down in this video. But this is the type of cable that's going to go into the Arduino socket right here. Hopefully this helps, so let's keep moving on. Before I actually do that, I don't want to make the mistake and cut it too short, because I've done that before, trust me. So I'm going to go ahead and measure that and then add another 1.5 inches maybe, okay? And after that I'm going to add another 1/4 inch, because I'm scared. I don't want to cut off. No, let's actually make 1/2 inch. That much. Oh my gosh, I'm committed now, because this is going to turn into our power adapter, okay, to the 5 volts. What we're going to do is actually use the 14 and just very carefully snip that so we can pull this off. Probably would have been so much easier if I just unplugged the power adapter from the Arduino while I did this. Jeez, Mike. Oh, look at these. Look at all. Look at that glory. You're going to actually be looking for the red and the black. The red and black, not the white and the green. That's the information cables, but the red and the black. These two bad boys right here. Not these, but these two. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and all this loosey-goosey stuff right here, this disgusting cobweb of lies, we're going to go ahead and very carefully snip all this stuff off, not cutting the other wires. Okay, that looks horrible, but whatever. Look at all these little metal pubic hairs. I'm going to go ahead, this is a family show, guys. Put this in the trash. Take a little bit of our friction tape. Alright. Put this handy tape looper back. And we're going to just clean this up a little bit. Make it look nicer. Nicer, what does that mean? Look at this circus show. But it's going to work, I promise. But at least this part's going to look nice. And now we're going to take our handy dandy strippers and get that stripper on the pole. Okay, it's a family show. Very carefully, we're going to try to strip this guy back as much as we can without actually snipping into this very delicate wire. This is not the right gauge. This is like probably 30 gauge, so we were able to get that, so that's good. It's very thin, but that's going to be good enough. Doing the same thing here. That was a good clean separation. Thank you, doctor. Thank you, doctor. We're going to go ahead and tin these a little bit more to put all these wires together and make it a little bit more of a solid wire so it can go into the socket a little bit better. So we went ahead and tinned the tips. That just looks horrible. There's probably like 100 of you that are just like me. That's like, that looks horrible, but I'm still going to do it. It's going to work. I promise you it's going to work. So there we go. That looks good. Alright. So now we're going to go ahead and put it into the 5 volts, which is right here. Because we already locked these in. We're going to unlock it because that's how I operate. I always think I'm done, but I'm never done until I'm done. Shove that in there and wiggle it around. And yeah, I was gonna say that's what she said, but you probably already said it in your mind. It's a family show, but let's go ahead and treat it like a family show and then clamp that down to Chinatown. Oh yeah, that's locked in. That's locked in tight. Alright, so I'm going to pause it here because yes, I wanted to spare you from all that nonsense of soldering. I was just adding these two wires together, okay, from the relay to the 5-volt socket, okay, that goes into the Arduino. So let's do a little bit of explaining here. This is 5 volts coming out. This is the 5-volt regulator and the 5 volts going out. Black and red wires, positive, negative. It's going into this terminal block here, and it's sharing to the relay 5 volts. See red and black right here, 5 volts, and it's also sharing into the 5-volt power adapter going to the Arduino right here. Okay, we have 12 volts here coming from your power supply. Mine is 12 volts, 0.6 amps. Yours might be 12 volts, 1 amp, 2 amps, whatever it may be. It's going to be 12 volts coming in this direction. These two wires, positive, negative, 12 volts in, 5 volts out. Alright, so now that we lock that in tight, we know that we are supplying power to the Arduino and to the relay. Okay. Alright everybody, so this is a better picture, a better look. So as you can see, again, this is a 5-volt regulator, 5 volts going out into the terminal block socket, sharing 5 volts into the relay module, coming back out to the actual power adapter to the socket into the Arduino, supplying 5 volts of power as well. Okay, again, 12 volts going in, 12 volts, 0.6 amps I have. You might have 1, 2, doesn't matter. The rock star of the show is the actual painter's tape here. Don't forget to leave the painter's tape there. I'm just joking. Let's move on. Alright, we did it. We made it to the very end. Thanks for hanging with me. Yours is obviously going to look way different. It's probably going to look way better than mine because mine is janky bo-ranky. But let me go ahead and kind of go over it before I actually plug it in. But as you can see, we have the L bracket and the 5-volt regulator here. It's all rock solid. This is the final design. I know that I moved the copper plate sensors all differently. I was going to have both of these on both sides, but I happened to loop the wire around and I want to keep them really separate from each other. And I used a little bit of friction tape here as well, and I glued all the resistors down. Okay, everything's down. Here's the 5-volt plug-in adapter that we made, and 5 volts and 12 volts, and yeah, let's go ahead and plug it in. There we go. All right, you see it working? Now, as you can see, it took a little bit of time for it to actually turn on. That means that it's actually getting a little bit up to speed with the voltage, a little under 5 volts, 4.9 volts. So if it takes a minute or even longer than that, don't be discouraged. That means that the Arduino is just working to get itself up to speed and voltage, okay? What I wanted to also show you, I'm going to go ahead and plug it into the computer screen, and so you can actually see the voltage before we actually play with it, okay? So I'm going to unplug this. Plug in the computer voltage, the actual computer Arduino on the screen. Now, I just wanted to keep you in mind that this is going to turn on, but it's not going to work. Again, don't be discouraged because this is not supposed to work. It's out of the range of the actual Arduino voltage, so it's using the outside source, which is this. Alright, so we're now on screen. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the actual serial port here. Clear it. So you can see up here the actual voltage. It's rating at 9, almost 5 volts here, and it's going to stay steady at almost 5 volts, a little under. So when we actually touch it, keep in mind that the relay is not going to work, but I just wanted to show you the actual voltage right around here of it actually dropping, okay, when I touch the wires. Okay, so as you can see, it's dropping under 5 volts. Okay, and remember the threshold that we set it at, 4.78. 4.78. So if it drops below 4.78, we're good to go. And it drops really fast, okay? Let's go ahead and have fun with it and show it in action. Alright, so I'm going to unplug it from the computer and plug it back in to the 12-volt buck down to 5 volts. Just buck, B as in boy, buck down, okay? Just so that we understand, I am clear on that. Okay, so check it out. So I have a green LED hooked up to a coin cell battery. Yeah. Now that's on, just pretend that that's mag lock, and we're going to actually hook up a mag lock. But I just wanted, for fun's sake, show you that voltage will be hooked up to it as well. Also, keep in mind that the little jumpers here, right now it's normally open with the power on. That means it's getting a circuit that's power here. You can just jump this over and it can be normally open, breaking the circuit so that when you actually touch the wires, you can make something turn on with voltage, okay? So let's do it. Check it out. Oh wow, check that out. It worked. All right, give it a second to turn on. Okay, keep in mind this is Cat 5 cable going into this hookup, and this is also the other side of the Cat 5 cable going into this one here. Nothing happens here. Nothing happens here. Will we touch that again? Sweet. Now keep in mind that it does take moments to actually catch up to the voltage, but the cool thing about that is it's just automatic reset. So maybe you have it hooked up to a mag lock, which you probably will. It'll just go ahead and open up or drop, and then it'll turn on automatically. Now see that double click right there? That means that because it's actually trumping really fast, sometimes it gets up to speed or voltage. That means it's so quick that it'll actually jitter sometimes when it turns on. So don't be discouraged when it clicks a few times when it does that. Maybe you have this hooked up to a Pee Wee Herman animatronic and you have him holding a green balloon. I know you are, but what am I? Haha. Okay, I'm gonna stop with that joke, okay, because I'm delirious and I need breakfast, alright? So let's go ahead and hook it up to a mag lock. We actually added the mag lock. As you can see, it's right here. The voltage going into the whole 12 volts right here is supplying all the power. Ow, Rocky, jeez, you want to play? Lost my train of thought. Okay, let's get back on thought. Fast forward. Doc, we gotta talk about the future. Marty, no, it'll mess up the time continuum. So yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Check it out. We'll go ahead and lock the mag lock in, and we touch this, it doesn't work. Touch this, doesn't work. This, touch together. We got magic. Give it time to reset. Okay, it's reset. Booyah, works again. See, it doesn't work. No connection until it resets. It's reset. Works. Look at that. And again, 12 volts, 0.6 amps power supply is what this is supplying the mag lock, the power to the relay module and the Arduino. Alright. Booyah. Alright. So there you have it. It looks really janky, but it works like a charm. Put a little sample on the screen here. This is one of the escape room props that I actually built. For secrecy, I can't say the name. But, works great. Okay, as promised, I wanted to show you the 5-volt hookup that I actually made here. Now, here's the 5-volt power supply that I had. And this one actually only has a red and black wire because it came specifically as a 5-volt regular power supply. Okay, this one here, as you can see, it had the 2 other wires. That means it actually goes into the computer, you know, had the 5 volts regulated and the 2 other wires. But anyway, this is what I did. I went ahead and cut it and I spliced these 2 wires in. This one goes to the positive, this one goes to the negative. That's all I did. I cut it in half and spliced them in. You can pretty much do that on your own. Again, it's color coordinated. Red goes to red, black goes to black, all the way down to the power socket to the actual power plug-in. I'm going to go on screen and show you just the diagram. Right, so on screen here we have the 5-volt power supply, and we can see the power supply that is splitting off to the relay module right here, and also to the 5-volt power adapter that's going into the Arduino. So the 5 volts will be plugged into the relay socket, the DC positive and the DC negative here. Then it would actually be plugged into the socket of the Arduino right here. So this is the more simpler version of it. Keep in mind that if you do it this way, you do need to actually supply power to the mag lock, and it would be 2 separate power supplies. One 12-volt power supply to the mag lock and the 5-volt power supply to the Arduino and the relay module. So you'll actually have 2 power supplies plugged into the wall socket. You also may be asking, well, why not do it one way and not the other? Like, why not just do it 12 volt, bucking it down to 5 volts, and just save the hassle of having two wall sockets? Well, some people might actually like just using the 5 volt power supply and segregating the 12 volts alone because they don't want the heat dissipation. They just want to do the actual 5 volt regulator. Also dealing with voltage drops. They just want it segregated on or two different power supplies. Okay, and some people might not even want to make the 5 volt regulator. That's just a hassle in and of itself for some people. So I just wanted to present two different options for you because one option might be best for you. Either way, you have two options. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hook this up. And here's the wires that we spliced in. I'm going to put positive and positive, and I'll probably fast forward this. All right. Yeah, and let's just go ahead and unplug it from the 12 volt, and we're going to actually plug in the 5 volts. So it's charging up. Again, keep that in mind. It's going to take a few moments, okay? And as we touch this, it's not working. That's not working, but we touch them together, it's working. That's sweet-tacular. All right, so we're pretty much there. Before we actually depart, I just wanted to give you a pretty quick and hefty rundown on what we just did here. We have the live view right here and the diagram, and I'm just going to show you side-by-side comparison, okay? So as you can see here, we've got the 5 volt regulator, which is right here, okay? 5 volt regulator, and we've got the mag lock, which is here, okay? And it's going into the 12 volts, a steady 12 volts to the actual wall socket. And then if you can see here, this is broken off into the normally open, which is right here. Then it goes into the common, which is right here. And this is the common right here. Then it breaks back out into the mag lock, okay? And then of course the positive goes into the 12 volts, okay? Now it's bucked down, B as in boy bucked, to 5 volts, going into the relay module and the Arduino. So okay, bucked down into the relay module, okay, it's all right here, and the Arduino right here. So again, relay module, Arduino, okay? Now going down here, now we are down to this diagram right here, which here's the ref pin that breaks out to the 1 mega ohm right here. I don't know if you can see it. Then we add the 10K, which is right here. Then we break out to the AO or analog 0, which is right here. Then we go back to the 1 mega ohm, which breaks out from this leg to the 1 mega ohm. Then we have a 10K right here, which is right here. Then we have the 2 mega ohms, which is right here and right here. Then we have the 50 volt 1 microfarad capacitor, which is right here, okay? And we have the anode that is hooked up to the 1 mega ohm, and it's breaking out to the copper plate, okay? So it's breaking out here to the copper plate. Then we jump back into the capacitor, which is here. Then it's going to the 1K resistor, which is here. Then that's breaking out to the copper plate, which is here. This is the copper plate. Then we jump back into the capacitor, and it's breaking into the ground, which is right here, breaking into the ground, closing the whole entire connection. Okay, can we see that visually? Side-by-side comparison. Let me go ahead and zoom out here so you can visually see what we did from the live breakout version to the actual diagram. All right, that's what we did. Now again, yours is probably going to look different than mine, probably going to look way more fancier, but either way, they're both going to work, and we're going to have some fun times and good times in the escape room. Thanks for sticking by. Thanks for downloading and supporting this. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial series. My YouTube family, stick around for more fun ideas and creative craziness. All right, coming up.